Girls Gone Carnal. Lesbian Vampires, Witches and Wares by Giselle Renarde. Read by Giselle Renarde. Mrs. Fox and the Cat of Nine Tails by Giselle Renarde. Old Mr. Fox would always look fondly on the time he tested his wife's faithfulness. Young Mrs. Fox was so very pretty, and he was often out of the house. He felt it reasonable to suspect her of infidelity. And was it not a husband's duty to ensure his wife's loyalty in a town full of eligible cuckolders? All the Fox family was known to be clever and shrewd, and old Mr. Fox was no exception. In fact, the one quality setting him apart from his fellow kin and townsmen was an unusual protuberance at the base of his backside. Mr. Fox had been born with an abundance of tails, red-tipped, with the fur like the animal of his namesake. He had 9 in total. Though the villagers mocked his deformity, Mrs. Fox found them exceedingly beautiful, splayed behind him like peacock feathers. The plot to test his wife's commitment was really quite simple. Stretching himself out on the garden bench, he stayed perfectly still for 2 days and nights. On the morning of the 3rd day, their pretty maid, Miss Cat, came out to the garden to pluck fresh herbs. When she spotted Mr. Fox stone dead, she cried out for her mistress. Mrs. Fox rushed out to the garden, but her shock stopped her in her tracks. He was dead, that much was certain. Wrought with misery, she raced from her husband's soulless body, went up to her room, and shut herself in. She cried in her bed for 7 days, never once changing out of her silk slip. In this time Miss Cat simmered only clear broth on the fire, as her mistress would take nothing more for her meals. Though Mrs. Fox had turned heads all over town, her loyalty to her husband was widely known. When the news spread that old Fox was dead, wooers were certain their time had come. One bright morning, old Mr. Fox observed his own nephew approaching the house. The lad rapped at the window in the kitchen door, singing, "Oh, pray, are you about, Miss Cat? Do you sleep or do you wake?" Sleeping or waking? What a question to ask after dawn! These foxes know nothing of how their maids toil. Brushing flour from her hands, Miss Cat covered her bread dough with a cloth and left it to rise. She opened the door to the suave suitor, answering, "I am not sleeping, I am waking. Will you guess what I am baking?" "No, thank you, miss," said young Fox, entering uninvited into Miss Cat's humble kitchen. "I have no interest in guessing games. Tell me, what is Mrs. Fox doing?" "She has only just lost her husband. What would you have her do?" Gritting her teeth, Miss Cat forced a smile and sang, "She sits alone to grieve and moan. She weeps her little eyes quite red because old Mr. Fox is dead." "Yes, I heard the old fox kicked the bucket," he replied with a conniving grin. "Nasty business, that. But life is for the living, and we must all plough on. Do tell your mistress a young fox is here to woo her." "Certainly, young sir," Miss Cat replied, offering a reluctant curtsy. Stomping up the stairs, she tapped at the door to her mistress's room. "Mrs. Fox, are you inside?" "Oh, yes, my little cat," she replied in a voice heavy with sleep. "Enter in, dear kitty." First poking her head inside, Miss Cat stepped into the room on ginger toes. "I regret to wake you at this early hour."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?